Good morning, Year 6. Okay, so today's math lesson on Wednesday is similar to yesterday in terms of becoming more familiar with decimals. So yesterday we looked at adding decimals and where that decimal point needed to be placed. Be careful that, you know, if you're matching it up with a number that's not got a decimal point, that we don't put our digits in the wrong place. So for example, if you had 23 and you had 2.3, a common mistake would be I'll put 23 and 2.3 straight under it, but we need to remember that actually that 2 is the number in the ones column, not the 3, which actually represents 3/10. Today, the maths lesson starts off with the 7 arithmetic questions like normal, so you'll be more than used to those at the moment. You've got those 7 questions. Now remember, what's most important about those is you won't know the answers to all of them. So remember, give yourself 4 minutes, see how many you can do. Number 1, number 2 should be fairly straightforward. Number 3, you might use what you've learned earlier on in the week in terms of rounding and adjusting. So when you look at those 2 4-digit numbers. Number 4, easy peasy, 72 divided by 1. Then you've got number 5. You'll need short multiplication for number 5. So if you're unsure on how to do that, or use what you already know. So could you multiply it by 3 and then double it? Number 6, which is 5 6 of 42, so think about how many parts 42 is going to be split up into. And then number 7 has got some larger digits, which is what we looked at first week 1 in year 6, so we should be all okay with that. Then as you move on to the Let's Explore, that's when you start to get into understanding the decimals and what a decimal number represents. So first of all, you've got lots of representations, some in images, some in words, and then some represented as a fraction. And the aim of the Let's Explore is to match them up. So each time you have a pair, you'll have 4 sets, so 4 squares to match up. So for example, I'm looking at along the top row, I'm looking at the second square and it says 0.024. That square will match up with 3 other squares on that table, on that grid. And then you'll find another one. So you've then got 204 divided by 1000. That one will have 3 that it matches that all represent exactly the same. Now a good starting point would be, okay, I need to look at each of the fractions and I need to work out what they are. Now, as you can see on the PowerPoint in front of me, you've got a place value chart, which you're all familiar with and what we use in school. Now, if you want to know what 204 over 1000 is as a decimal, you need to put 204 on your place value chart in the hundreds, tens and ones, and you need to divide that by 1000. And think when you divide a number by 10, you move it 1 place to the left. If you divide it by 100, you're moving it 2 places to the left. If you're dividing it by 1000, you're moving it 3 places to the left. And then that should give you, well, it will give you what 204 over 1000 is as a decimal. Once you've got all of those as decimals, then the matching up activity should be made a lot easier. And then as you go on to the independent task, that's kind of manipulating decimals a little bit. So looking at how many different decimals or how many parts can make one whole. So the first part, the first question has got question mark is equal to, so something is equal to something, add 0.2, add something else. Now you can fill in that gap as much as you like, so you could say that your whole is going to be 1. What number could you put there? Oh, sorry, it actually gives you what the whole is, so it gives you 1.203, and you've got to decide, how can I make 1.203? How can I fill those gaps? So you've already got 0.2, but what have your other parts got to be to make a total of 1.203? And I would use that place value chart, put on what your whole is, 1.203, and then work from there. What do you need to add together to be able to get to that whole or to that total? You've got a couple more examples of those, and then as you get to number 4 relates similar to Let's Explore. So you're looking at which numbers have a digit worth and then whatever that fraction represents. So you've got 3 over 100, 6 over 1000, and you'll have had practice of that in the Let's Explore, and you'll know, okay, I can think of a number, or I can think of a number that's got a digit 6 in that is the same as 6 over 1000, and then you need to write down that number. And then number 5 is a bit of a challenge for you. So it says, can you find an answer to 2 decimal places and 1 to 3 decimal places? And it gives you a clue. So can you find an answer to 2 decimal places and 1 to 3 decimal places? And the clue says it is greater than a quarter, less than 3/10, and the digit sum of 9. So you need to try and think of 2 numbers that match those clues. Okay, that is to 2 decimal places and then to 3 decimal places. Okay, good luck. Don't forget to email your work in.